He is lying on his back, arms exposed, chest tilted up in a way no living body ever bends. Around him, 7 men lean in close. Their collars are white, stiff, perfect. His skin is not. One man in a hat holds forceps to the dead man's forearm, pulling something loose. Pale tendons catching the light. Nobody in the room is looking at the corpse's face. They're all looking at the hand. And here's the strange part. Look closer at that hand. Something about it doesn't sit right. It looks heavier than it should, almost like it doesn't belong to this body at all. We'll get back to that. Amsterdam, January 31st, 1632. Bitterly cold, the kind of cold that keeps bodies from rotting too fast, which mattered because this whole scene only happens once a year. One dissection, that was the rule. The Amsterdam Guild of Surgeons was only permitted a single public anatomy lesson every 12 months, and the body had to come from someone the state had already killed. That morning, a thief named Adriaansoen, known on the street as Aris Kind, was hanged in Dam Square for a violent robbery. Hours later, his body was carried into the Waag, the old weighhouse, and handed to the surgeons. In my opinion, that's the part people skip past too fast. This wasn't a metaphor. A man was alive that morning. By afternoon, he was a specimen, and the city's most respected doctors paid money, actual commission fees, to be painted standing over him. Science, on top of a scaffold. The man holding the forceps is Dr. Nicolaes Tulp, Amsterdam's official city anatomist, future mayor, 8-time treasurer, a man who quite literally renamed himself after a tulip because he liked the symbolism. But the painter is the one who interests me. Rembrandt was 25, brand new to Amsterdam, barely established. We may never know exactly how. He convinced the most powerful surgeons in the city to let an unknown kid paint their portrait. He signed it Rembrandt, not the monogram he'd used before, his actual name. Full confidence, right there in the corner. What strikes me most is the audacity of it. A no-name painter, a corpse, and 7 men who could make or break his career in one brushstroke. Now walk through it with me. Tulp sits slightly apart, almost detached, demonstrating with his own left hand how the muscle will move once he pulls the tendon. Cold, clinical, a lecture, not a morning. Behind him, 6 more surgeons stack upward in a kind of human pyramid. Each one paid their share to be included. Watch their eyes. They don't all look at the same thing. One stares at the hand, one stares at Tulp, one stares straight out at us. That's Frans van Loenen, and he's not looking at the body at all, he's looking at you. In the lower corner, an enormous open anatomy textbook, likely Vesalius, the founding father of modern anatomy, sits like a silent 8th witness, and there's someone missing entirely. The preparator, the man whose actual job was to do the cutting. He's not in the painting. No knives, no mess, nothing that would make Tulp look like he did the dirty work himself. Everything here is staged, curated, a performance of science. But go back to that hand, the one Tulp is dissecting, because, and here's where it gets strange, that hand was never supposed to exist. In 1998, conservators ran an X-ray scan across the canvas. What they found underneath the paint wasn't a hand at all, it was a stump. Rembrandt's original layer shows Aris Kind's dissected arm ending abruptly, no hand attached. Historians now believe Kind had already lost that hand years earlier, as punishment for an earlier crime, legal mutilation, a common sentence at the time for theft. Or maybe Rembrandt himself decided a stump in the painting's exact center would draw too much attention, distasteful, distracting, so a hand got painted on top, added later, on a canvas that was never built to hold it. That's why, 400 years on, art historians and hand surgeons still argue over what they're looking at. The tendons don't match a real left forearm. Some say it's the anatomy of a right hand, flipped, borrowed straight from a textbook illustration, and pasted in without a second thought. A dead man's actual punished hand, erased, replaced with an anatomically impossible one. I may be the only one who reads it this way, but that feels less like an artistic slip and more like a confession Rembrandt didn't mean to leave behind. If you are new to the channel and like our videos, be sure to subscribe and hype this video up to help us. So, look at the painting again. Everything shifts now. That hand Tulp is holding so carefully, so scientifically. It's not really Aris Kindt's hand, it's a substitute, a stand-in for a hand that Amsterdam's justice system had already taken from him once before, years before the noose ever touched his neck. The surgeons aren't just studying a criminal's body, they're standing over a man the state punished twice. Once with a blade for theft, once with a rope for something worse, and Rembrandt, intentionally or not, painted over the evidence of the first punishment to make room for the second. Even the corpse's face tells you something. It's cast in shadow, deliberately, a technique art historians call umbra mortis, the shadow of death. Rembrandt used it again and again through his career. But here, at 25, it feels like the very first time he understood what darkness could do to a face. Kindt's identity dims, his crime, his punishment, his name, all of it fades into shade, while the hand, fabricated or not, stays lit. Step back from the details and here's what's left. A room full of powerful men, paying to be remembered next to a body they didn't know. Executed for a crime most of them never bothered to learn the details of. Science was the excuse, status was the real reason. What strikes me most is how familiar that still feels. We still watch true crime for entertainment. We still turn suffering into spectacle, dress it up as curiosity, call it justice or science, and move on with our evening. Rembrandt didn't paint a lesson about anatomy. He painted a room full of people performing importance over a man nobody thought to ask about. So here's my question for you. If Rembrandt painted over the truth of Aris Kindt's actual hand because it was too distasteful to look at, was that restoration or was it erasure? I'd genuinely love to know what you think. If you are watching till now, thank you. I'll see you in the next one.